It's so strange starting these recordings. So I like to be transparent about what's going on technically as well. Because technically we're not actually, no, I'm just kidding. It can be difficult recording or editing. It's very much get it done. Polished doesn't need to be. All right, welcome to not that page because we are not at the Mystics Roundtable. That is Thursdays and Saturdays. But we are at Decks of Abundance. We are a circle, and it is 8 a.m. Central Time, Tuesday, or the French take off. And it is May 12th, 2026. If you're like, wait, what? Oh my God, I'm in the wrong time stream. Okay, so let's do this. So I went and I got my fairy deck. And I got, because I was reading my mermaid deck the other day. So I got my fairy deck too. Does anyone else pick that backwards like all the time? All right, this is by Karen K. I got this deck in Romania. And I love like these anchors for memories. Look, I'm a hoarder. Don't get rid of that. I'll forget what happened. But no, seriously, now I'm like, oh yeah, I remember I was in that mall. Oh yeah, that was Romania. So this was one of the few that was in English, and we were actually flying home that day. And oh yeah, that trip. I forgot my luggage. No, they took my luggage is what it was when I was still in the United States. So I didn't have any clothes, I didn't have any tarot decks, didn't have jack shit. It was horrible from the beginning. But I made it. I made it through a week in Europe without changing my clothes. Smell me. So I bought this deck, and on the plane, and a bit before that, but I was like, wow, this deck reads really well. Like I was having a ton of fun, and I didn't have any fairy decks, none. Didn't really appeal to me, and I just loved it. So let's look at this. This is Karen K, K-A-Y, Karen K, Pocket Oracle of the Fairies, and I had two decks out because I like this deck so much that I got home and well, actually, I'm playing probably I ordered it, but she also has messages from the mermaids. So I was like, all right, we're gonna try both. So we're gonna try both. Oh, you know what? Let's pull them together. Okay, so this is gonna be Pocket Oracle of the Fairies. Our draw is find balance. I'll show you in just a moment what that looks like. And to give you a peek, you cannot tell if you are looking at reversals. It's gonna be identical, if that makes a difference to you as a reader. Pretty background. Okay, and then let's go ahead and see what we will read from the book. Oh wow, that's stunning. Go the flow. So it looks like too. Okay, so this is more of a drawn look to it. I don't know what kind it is. Acrylics, oils, I have no clue. Not watercolors. So, but this is a mixed media effect. So it has like the face of an actual person, it looks like, but the background looks more fantasy. Go ahead. So let's go ahead and get this card drawn, and then we'll see. I'm just going to see how these messages work together. We're going to see that. Okay, here we go. Oh, positivity. All right, so on the back of this card, again, you could read reversals. You read reversals anyway, but the shell is not going to let you know what way the card is facing. So we have positivity from our messages from the mermaids, right? Messages from the mermaids by Karen K. And find balance from the fairy wolf, Pocket Oracle of the Fairies. I don't know if this comes in a full size. This is I have the pocket size. Okay, so let's go ahead and look those up. So we go to find balance. Let's look at the cards too. You know, like the fairies have wings, so I think of the air element, but the element of air. But then we look at the mermaid who's living in water. We have very separate elements, water and air. But for humans, we need both to survive. That is inarguable. I think maybe not. Suppose you can argue. All right. And then when we look at the fairy card, she's looking over, they're looking over they're like looking out into the room, kind of smiling, and then there's this book in front of them, and they actually are holding a quill or a pen. So they're utilizing, we have the element of air. These are oracle decks, but when we associate that with tarot, the element of air is associated with the suit of swords. And the suit of swords is communication and intellect, which is fairly broad. She's using a book to transcribe thoughts, memories, promises. And then we have a mermaid who is most likely also keeping an archive of her memories, but she sure shit isn't writing it down, at least not as far as what I know she can do. So I'm still basing all this on my reality. So how does the mermaid record? She can use ink and paper because she's an air element, and she in the water element is not going to be able to do that. So how would you record a memory? How would you keep something close that you know could so easily drift away? Maybe it's not about holding on to it so tightly. Maybe it's about letting it drift. Maybe it really is, it happened in that moment and now it's not happening. And maybe it's just all you have to do is remember the feeling. You don't have to have the details of the environment that you were in when it happened, when it was said, when you felt it. It's just the feeling. Just remember that feeling. And interestingly, when we started, I did mention hoarding. Because what was I even talking about? And I was like, oh, don't get rid of that. Then I can't remember how it happened. Oh, the deck. Because I was like, oh, I love how this attaches me to the memories of when it happened. I still have those memories with or without the deck. So maybe let it go. Maybe the details are not what is so important. Not on everything. Not all the time. And then if we look to find balance is the message on the card for the fairy who's looking these notes. Find balance. Do what works for you. Maybe your hand cramps after just a minute of writing. Then stop. Just consider it a message from the universe, and most definitely a message from your own fucking body that it doesn't feel good right now. So let's rest. 4 cups. It's however you choose to look at it. It really is. And the keyword, a single keyword on the mermaid card, positivity. She is okay, if we go with this theme, of not remembering every fucking detail. I don't think that's why my mind is here, to remember the details of what someone else did. What does that serve me? And if it's something that I'm trying to remember that happened to me or for me, those feelings are going to bring me there. The deck that I bought will bring me there. It'll help me. So before, no, let me go to the book first. I do see your hand. Thank you for your patience. I'm going to quickly go to the book so that we can keep this thread going. And then I will come to you, and I am excited to hear what you have to say. Okay, so let's go ahead. Now, the fairy deck is in alphabetical order. So we're going to quickly go to find balance. And it says, now it has a compressed message and then a longer one. So the compressed message is, find the balance between your work, rest, and playtime, and you'll have more energy, harmony, and productivity in your life. Take a power nap. I did not get that at all. Okay. When your work is literally your joy, it feels like play and not work at all. Are you working too hard and not allowing enough time for rest and play? Are you feeling bored? Or are you in danger of becoming boring? Oh. Be truthful with yourself when you answer. Even though fairies are known to be super hard workers, they also know how to rest and play. The fairies are flying in now to remind you to take a break and give your body and mind a well-deserved rest. So like that whole rest, stop trying to remember. The problem with work is that once you've completed one task, there's always another waiting, a bit like housework. But even though it may feel as though you need to rush to get everything done, taking some time out can actually give you more energy to complete the task at hand. Fairies love to snooze. And they're telling you that 40 winks in the afternoon, also known as a power nap, could be beneficial for you. The strong message here is to get some rest. This card could also be saying that you're playing too much. Perhaps you're procrastinating when you ought to be working. You need to be really honest with yourself about this. as only you will know if you have the right balance of work, rest, and play in life. That's so weird. When I was reading that last passage, I was like, I just read this somewhere, like, but I haven't pulled from this deck because I couldn't find it. But I know I just read this, and I get it. Oracle messages can kind of like be repetitive, but those words, that's weird. And I was telling myself that this morning I'm going to go back to my schedule and make some changes. So this is kind of a big day too. So quickly go to positivity in our mermaid book. And we have this super positive mermaid is holding her arms outstretched as she calls to you to allow more positivity into your life. Practicing meditation and affirmations can be very helpful in changing your mindset into a positive one. Positivity and negativity are two sides of the same coin. It's good to remember this if you're feeling in a negative state of mind, which sometimes happens in the human realm. All it takes is a different thought to flip the coin back to positivity. Someone in your circle could be needing your input of positivity right now, shedding light on a tricky situation, literally through your positive disposition, can make a huge difference to others when they are in a negative space. Sharing your positivity is a beautiful thing if those around you aren't feeling so great. Being close to positive people is a bit like having your batteries charged just by being in their presence. Are you in need of a positivity boost? If so, think of some things that lift your spirits. Perhaps meditation, a meal with friends, a walk by the ocean, and so on. It's a good idea to make a positivity checklist that you can use when you need a boost. This doesn't mean that you need to be positive all the time, as that would be almost impossible. Positivity is key here. Sea Star sister cards are hope and miracles. So if they appear together in a spread, it's time to really swim up and take notice. So let's just take the top two cards and see if we get hope and miracles. We didn't, we got patience and inner knowing. Okay, so really pretty deck. And go ahead. Thanks for your patience. Go ahead. What would you like to say?
Well, that's about mermaids. Uh, there's some question about whether mermaids exist or not, but I think mermaids or uh, archangels or gnomes or unicorns, they represent an energy that comes from the universe. And so they don't have to have physical form, they can to exist. The mermaid form, like in the Star Trek episode, uh, you need like a picture or something, fairies or a gnome, so you can relate to it. You can't relate to the energy. So they do exist. I mean, they exist any way you want. Fairies can exist any way I want, anything the way you want. You have that power.
Yeah, I love that. I really like that. And I completely agree.
But some people say if I can't see it, if it's not physical form, it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Well, that's their loss.
I mean, that's totally to them. I've definitely heard, like, I had someone say to me once, recently, a couple months ago, it was like, oh, they're not a real friend. They said, I don't think they're real friends unless, like, you're sitting in their physical presence. Then you don't have any friends. All right, so all right, so we're gonna go to Norse Goddess Rune Oracle. I had a real pull towards this. I'm also gonna be maybe next. I bought this deck for $2.50, marked down from $5 at the thrift store. Everyday Adventures. I have no idea, but it was $16. So we're gonna pull from that next. I haven't opened it. I don't know what it is. I'm so excited. Oh, and I also got this at the thrift store, unopened, $1.99. The Celtic Tarot. I don't. It's definitely different, but I don't know if it's a real. Oh my god, I think it is a real. Helena Patterson's exploration of the Celtic people and their mystical Druidic religion. Wow, I thought it was like a knockoff deck. Okay, it's a real thing. So I had a really good time at the store. Okay, so let's go to North Goddess Rune Oracle. And we have the belief in fairies or mermaids or whatever we want. We set the stage for how our belief exists in our world. So let's look at that in the card that we're going to. Your dog eyes. So Dagas and Othala are the last two runes, and you can actually, if you wanted to, you could switch them. Um, it's up to you. So this is either the final rune in the Elder Futhark or the second to last. But we're coming to the end. And the literal translation of this, which is spelled Dagaz, is dawn. Like that moment that we have the darkest part of the day behind us, of our life behind us, of that moment, of that relationship, of that journey behind us. This season of winter, when we recognize that spring is coming, that we have our chances of dying are beginning to shrink, that our chances of living are growing. That would be like a Degas moment that would stretch out for weeks. Because when those rooms were created, there was no AC. We didn't have heating systems. We froze to death. We starved to death. We needed potable water. We relied on Mother Nature for sustenance. So, in pulling this room, let's go to the book and see what we have. Okay, so I keep saying so. I think I might say okay. Oh, good. Let me see how long. Okay, so I'm seeing. I don't normally read, but I'm gonna read the whole thing because my pronunciation is not great. So you might want to check it out for yourself. So this is Yord, awakening, breakthrough, and balance. Now Yord is the character on the card, but the rune is Dagas, Dagaz at the very top. It is not the 37th rune. It just happens to be that card in the deck. So, the background on this character and why they pertain to this rune is, in the literature, Jord is referred to primarily as the mother of Thor. In the Prose Edda, we learn about her parentage and her relationship with Odin. In the Gilpaning, we see that Earth was the daughter and wife of Odin, the mother of his firstborn son, Thor. As a Jotun, it appears that Jord is descended from Ymir, the first being, who was slain by Odin and his brothers to create the world. From darkness she emerges, to retreat again at day's end. Gaia, Pachamama, Mother Earth. Jord has been given many names by many different cultures over time. She is the Earth, all-encompassing and supportive. As the mother of the mighty Thor, she created the god of thunder, the two connecting during thunderstorms. Jord, Jord, it's TH. Jord is alive and awake during the day, where life goes on busily, sometimes unaware of her existence. Jord rests during the night to be awoken by the warm glow of the sun each morning, where she prepares for another day. While embracing humanity and providing life, she can also be ferocious and violent. Earthquakes and volcanic eruptions stem from deep within, unsettled deep in her core, and unleashed for all to bear witness. So we have Mother Earth, as this is a Norse interpretation. So the divination meaning, and this is the only aspect of the card I really ever read. Dagas is the rune of awakening, meaning day. It represents the emergence from darkness into the light where all becomes clear and action takes place. Shaped similarly to the infinity symbol, it represents the cycle of day and night, yet with a strong focus on the opportunities presented during the light of the day. The sayings, make the most of every day, or make every day count, resonate in this room. Dagas is a breakthrough, as in finally seeing the light of day. It is a positive sign for things to fall into place and for you to be on the correct path towards your chosen goal. It is overcoming challenges, emerging energized and ready to take action to solidify your dreams and reality. It is also a rune of action, for breakthroughs do not happen in an idle state. Keep working towards your dreams, for the big break is just around the corner. Perhaps this awakening will come in finding your life's true purpose. Perhaps it is a spiritual awakening that leads you towards enlightenment. This card is telling you it is a time of waking up and seeing the beauty in all. Dagas is also a rune of balance. It reminds you to be present and mindful during each day. Observe and thank the earth for her support. Take a moment to reflect on your gratitudes, then begin your day of activity. It is important not to work too hard or too long, for exhaustion and burnout can erupt like a volcano. Balance out your action with relaxation, for even the day must rest while the night reigns supreme. And I think that with talking about like what our belief is sets the reality, like that sets our stage. Mother Earth doesn't necessarily have disbelief. Why herself? Why would she entertain herself with fiction, when surrounded by reality? So don't put blinders on. And believing in fairies is not putting blinders on, it's opening your eyes to the possibility. If you're willing to believe and fairies in whatever sense exists, then it to me it says that this is an open mind and a willing heart. To put belief in that person is a good person. I don't know them, but I believe they're a good person. Everything. I'll believe the positivity in everything. Or at least know that it exists. That's so very cool. Let's put it back in the deck so there's a big message. And let's open up this new one. So this is Everyday Adventures. I don't know what it is. It says rediscover wonder and excitement. It doesn't have an author, so I don't think it looks. Let's see. That's weird. It's like a single statement and then a lot of empty space on the card. Let's see. Maybe it's like read it and then make notes on what you did. But maybe a suggestion for what to do today. Never underestimate the power of imagination. It says SpongeBob. Imagination. Oh yeah. SpongeBob, I'm not joking. SpongeBob can imagine. This is such a good show. I've been watching that show since it came out. Not like religiously, but I've had children for that long. All right, so on the back of the card, are these the same on the back of every card? Okay, so they're not. The back of every card is not the same. This is a person taking a picture of some brownstones on the middle of the picture. The brownstones can exist in the country. All right, so it says eat an unusual food before bedtime and monitor your dreams with particular care. That's fun. All right, guys, eat an unusual food before bedtime, and that's whatever that means to you, and monitor your dreams with particular care. Okay, and because it came up twice when I was shuffling, I don't know what this is. What the fuck am I don't know. I'm gonna share this one because it's come up twice, and there's like a pen mark on it, a mistake mark. No, maybe not a mistake. Anyway, it says cry, amplify, and without. And that's a word. Okay, it says cry, dash, amplify, and without inhibition. AMPLY, amplify, and without inhibition. Am I just having like some kind of brain seizure and I'm not figuring what that word? Amplify is not a word, right? But amplify. Maybe it's a mistake. Amplify and without inhibition. But it's suggesting that you cry, which is a little strange because it's just a little bit ago. It was this side, whatever. It was watering really bad. And I was like, what is going on? So it was like I was crying, but not, So we don't like our mind. So cry. without inhibition. Our mind doesn't need to be in a sad state to have water flow from tear ducts. We could have allergies. We could have an irritant in the eye. We could have something, I don't know what was going on with my eye this morning. So sometimes the body does not need the mind. Oh, when does the body not need the mind? What actions take place that you could be brain dead and still do? Sweat? Would you still sweat if you were brain dead? Probably, right? That seems right. That's I don't know though, because if you're brain dead, you're not breathing, right? So you have to be on a machine. Dream? Yeah, because if you're brain dead, and if that means that your body is going to perish, in the moments that you have left, you could dream. Like you said, Steve, your imagination, using your imagination. And that dream, even though seconds long, because the corporeal being is fading, could feel like millions of years. It could be this existence right now. This is the dream before death. That's where we're living. Holy crap! So I'm not gonna take that train out of town, jumping off that sucker and going over to some I don't know. Let's go to the Green Witch's Oracle. Because I just want to read something other than that bot. This is the dream before death. That is the life right now. Okay, I'm sticking with it. With the idea that this existence is the dream before death, which is not a good or a bad thing, it's just the reality of what it is. Let's see what this card offers towards that notion. So I'm not requesting that the deck give me a card that makes sense for. What we're doing is proving confirmation bias. And it's going to make sense. It's going to be a message. It's a message. It's real. So is this the no? This is Darren Murphy Hiscock, author of The Green Witch, illustrated by Sarah Richard. So the card for the dream before death is the watering can, asking for help and sharing burdens. That would be quite the lesson to learn in the moments of this dream. Look at how much growth there is on that watering can. What does that signify? That it hasn't been picked up and used in a way that a human would use it, but it's still being used. It's still, that sounds awful. It's still seen to have value, even though it's not being used as a human would use it. This life has value regardless of how the human who's living it is using it or portraying themselves in it. The life still has value. I mean, and then by default, we could say that the person living it has value as well. Okay, so not in alphabetical order. Tech for. Oh my God, there's big spread. Wow, they have a 9-card spread, a 12-card spread, 5-card spread, 6-card spread, Oracle card spread. Is this in the photos you want to put that? I was like, why are they showing that? All right, guys, just looking to see. So we're gonna go to the back of the book. Water can. Yeah, there we go. I will eventually remember that. Okay, so the index is not in alphabetical order. Here, 55, 55. The dream before death. So if I read that with tarot, I would tap into the physical body. Would you even be seeking consent? No, because if it was my dream, you wouldn't even make consent. I would just be actually literally reading from my physical body and bypassing the mind. That is weird. I want to do that today. All right, let's see what the watering can offers as far as that goes. Asking for help and sharing burdens. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to want some spiritual background. So I'm going to talk to me. That's whatever that means to you. All right, card meaning. Not everything happens naturally. Sometimes you must carry water to a plant. Being a green witch means stepping up to honor nature and act on its behalf. Sometimes that manifests as giving a plant what it lacks so that it can thrive. the reciprocal relationship between you and nature means that sometimes you're the one who needs nature's help, and sometimes nature needs your help. When you're lacking something, however, it can at first be hard to admit you need to ask for help. The watering can card tells you that something in your life needs external support, or that a burden needs to be shared. Don't be afraid to lean on others. So I'm literally talking about reading the physical body, and it's saying something in your life that needs external support. My mind needs the external support of the physical form. All right, so the reflection, all the cards will have a reflection. This reflection, is there something in your life that needs outside attention or an injection of energy from elsewhere, like me reading my physical body? This is going to be an amazing day today, guys. Good energy. Well, what did watering can give you guys? I'm going to treat this as the dream before death, and I'm going to read my physical body that is experiencing this death in a different dimension. So very, very cool. All right. Oh, that's cup of tea is the next card. Let's see. Oh, I love that. Death. Dream before death. It's gotta remember. This is no, I'm actually let's do this. Unusual animal messages. Oh, how much time do I have? Okay, I'm gonna read this. I like these cards. They're cute. We're not reading this, but this is what we read last time, Sloth. They're fun. Okay. So unusual animal messages by Manda Commissari. Okay, let's see. The platypus. They're an odd one. We are and then it says we are a curated gallery of our influences. That is true with the platypus. They are a marsupial. Am I saying that right? I think they are. Oh man, I don't want to screw this up. Let's find out. But let's go. Platypus, I think, is no, it's the egg-laying mammal. The platypus is, I think, the egg-laying mammal. But that is not normal. Mammals are known characteristic is giving live birth, producing milk for their offspring. We are mammals, humans. And then the platypus is outside of that. And it says we are a curated gallery of our influences. Everything happening on the planet is happening for a reason, but it's also that we are a part of all that is happening. In this case, genetically speaking, we are a part of all that is happening. All right, so let's go to platypus. If I'm right about the characteristics. Is this gonna be? Yeah. All right, so not alphabetical, there is no index. What am I doing wrong? Okay, so it looks like there's no way to find the card, but going through and looking at each page, it seems right. So I think last time I was reading off all the animals. Oh, capybara. Firefly squid? What is that? Firefly squid? I might be obsessed with a new animal. Go back and look at that. All right. Firefly squid. Here you go, platypus. The platypus inspires us to remember that we are a curated gallery of our collective experiences, friends, and interests. We have the unique opportunity to choose what we want to be influenced by. This curious mammal is a great example of how a mashup of influences can come together to create something truly original. It draws its inspiration from all over the animal kingdom. It has a body like an otter, a tail like a beaver, and a bill and webbed feet like a duck. Additionally, it lays eggs. uses electronic impulses to locate prey like a shark, and glows, a biofluorescent blue-green color when put under an ultraviolet light. When the platypus was first brought over from Australia to Britain, scientists thought it was a fake animal. Using the platypus as a guide, we can also pick Using the platypus as a guide, we can also pick what influences us. We are all born blank slates and come to be who we are because of our life experience. The more we let in, the richer our lives can be. While this is a liberating concept, it also means we are only as good as what we surround ourselves with. So choose wisely. Try this. Take note of your surroundings, your friends, and how you're choosing to spend your time. Are these in alignment with who you want to be and your goals? If not, it would be wise to reevaluate your choices. Make an effort to surround yourself with people and experiences that build you up and support the life you want to live. Oh my gosh, this is such a cool deck. I got this one at Ollie's. Very interesting.
Who's the author?
Amanda Commissari.
Oh, yeah, Amanda Commissari. Okay.
Yeah, and Ollie's is very inexpensive. So this might be $25 on Amazon and $5 at Ollie's. So if you guys have Ollies, Ollie's, it's like Ollie's Bargain Basement or something. It's definitely worth going to. And I have a new deck that we are going to read from for our final card, and this is Sacred Earth Oracle. Usually I wasn't gonna necessarily. I would have already opened it, but it really fun. So we're gonna do it. All right. So this is Sacred Earth Oracle. It's so pretty, and it's Tony Carmine. Oh wait, no, it's not. It's more than this. People have a lot of names. Tony Carmine Salerno and Leela J. Williams, and the artwork was by Helena Nelson Reed. All right, so we have Sacred Earth Oracle. All right, pretty straightforward, oversized card, typical stock, a little bit bigger than usual maybe. The guidebook, I'm sure that, yes, I'm positive if you try to highlight it, it'll just bleed through the entire page. So very thin paper, not color illustrated in the guidebook. Okay, but that was a very, very condensed box opening. So I am gonna shuffle. No, it's not. I really think so hard about that before I shuffle, which way the cards are facing. Okay. So these are not numbered, and they may not have like any kind of order that jumps out at me all at once, but I do like to give them a shuffle. All right, one more shuffle. And then I'm not thinking of a question in the group reads typically, but if you have been, go ahead and bring it to mind. Okay, Sacred Earth Oracle, and this is going to be our final card for the group. Let's see what the message is. Brand new deck for me. So I'm going to treat this as like a hello. We just opened the box. So it's not been read by. So our final group is also a hello to the deck. Anything the deck would like to share. We have Perspective, very pretty card. We have the Mama Earth kind of look again. This woman could be pregnant, so we have like Empress energy. Is there a number? No. But Perspective could just be bloated. What is she looking at? What is she choosing to hold and surround herself with? All right, let's see what the book says. Perspective. Please be in alphabetical order. It is. So we have the earthly meaning, the spiritual meaning, and the inside of the card. So for perspective, earthly meaning, you are you in your own right, not as a reflection of circumstance, expectation, or assumption. The previous card or one of the previous cards, just talked about how we're an influence of everything around us, the platypus. Now listen to how this card starts. You are you in your own right, not as a reflection of circumstance, expectation, or assumption. Define and trust yourself. A clear and simple answer betrays the true complexity of an issue. Resist the temptation to take someone or something at face value. A pattern of behavior reveals more than a single gesture. Go deeper, broader, and higher to get a fuller perspective. A pattern of behavior reveals more than a single gesture. These are like sentences, like you could just take a sentence and go with it, but the sentences in themselves are all important. Okay, spiritual meaning. From the calm, neutral perspective of love and free from the fear, guilt, and judgment of this world, your higher self looks through the conflict and drama of the physical world and sees hidden meaning and purpose. From a distance, present chaos looks perfectly ordered. Seek greater awareness. Tune into the depths of your heart to find heavenly peace. Okay, so again, it's sentence by sentence by sentence instructions, but you can take whatever works for you and leave what does not. So the insight, a glass of water is colorless, but an ocean of water is blue. Close up, air is colorless, but a sky full of air is blue. Although it has no substance, the sky looks down at what it believes is its reflection. However, the ocean draws in and absorbs the light to become blue in and of itself, not as a reflection of the sky. It is all a trick of the light. Perspective is everything. That which appears clear enough on the surface takes on a different hue when you look deeper. Little things you brush off as nothing you compound and color your world. From a distance, it all looks so peaceful, so blue. Damn, I don't know what to think about this deck. That was interesting, and it did make sense. I feel like it's a sentence by sentence. Like if I go and read like an excellent deck to read for myself with, and potentially the group, but sentence by sentence, I could pull a tarot card for what it was saying and then find the clarity. That's a really good. That would be a really good deck for. Very good. This is the one. So this is the other part of transparency.